The U.S. works behind the scenes to free 2 Americans in Iraq. This as families hoping for their release hold around-the-clock vigil. Cracking down on a cult, police in Japan seize more deadly chemicals, enough to kill millions. And no more playing around. The Fed stepped back up to the plate to try and save a pastime that's passing us by.
From NBC News, this is NBC Nightly News, reported by Giselle Fernandez.
Good evening, everyone. The fate of 2 Americans sentenced to 8 years in an Iraqi prison tops our news tonight. The White House is reportedly pursuing, quote, quiet diplomacy to try to secure their immediate release. But as NBC's Tom Pettit reports, the president has not ruled out military action if Saddam Hussein fails to respond.
Kathy Delaberti, whose husband David is in an Iraqi prison, made a brief statement today at her home in Jacksonville, Florida. Her remarks were directed not at Saddam Hussein, but at Americans.
I would like to express my deep appreciation to all the people who have expressed their support and encouragement.
Mrs. Delaberti is using the internet to send and receive email messages of support for her husband David and for William Barloon, now under 8-year sentences. In the most recent similar case, American Kenneth Beatty of Oklahoma got out of the same prison after serving just 205 days of an 8-year sentence. He said today he hopes Barloon and Delaberti get out faster. The White House today insisted that it is exploring all possible diplomatic avenues to get them released immediately. The president himself continued to maintain total public silence about the dispute with Iraq, even though some Republicans have demanded he take strong action. He avoided reporters' questions. But his chief of staff did say the U.S. is using private diplomatic channels, not the United Nations. He would not discuss possible use of force.
I don't think either the Iraqi government or anyone else ought to underestimate our resolve in this situation to have these 2 released as quickly as possible.
The administration ought not to rule out any option, including the use of force. But at this point, any use of force would be premature, and it's not clear how it could actually get these people out alive.
This case shows every sign of becoming a political football for Saddam Hussein and also for U.S. politicians who say the president must consider military options. Tom Pettit, NBC News, at the White House.
Japanese police continued their massive raids on a religious cult today and uncovered more of the deadly chemicals used in the Tokyo subway attack. As NBC's Lucky Severson reports, authorities seized enough to kill millions and linked the cult to the crime.
They were at the compound again today, 1,000 Japanese police searching for more evidence to charge the Omu Shinrikyo cult with the sarin nerve gas attack on Tokyo's subway. Today, police broke into an underground bunker, and as cult members and their children looked on, investigators found more chemicals. They've collected hundreds of tons so far, all the chemicals needed to make sarin. Police say enough to kill millions. And they have established a scientific link between the sarin traces found on the compound and the subway attack, but still no charges. Omu disciples were passing out leaflets outside Tokyo train stations today proclaiming their innocence, but no one seemed to be taking them. Most Japanese are by now convinced that the cult is guilty of the crime.
That kind of organization shouldn't be tolerated. Whatever the reason, that's a crime, pure crime. No matter what they say, I think they're crazy.
An increasing number of Japanese are questioning why police have not arrested Omu members and charged them with plotting mass murder. But it is not a crime in Japan to make sarin, and no one claims to have solid proof that cult guru Shoko Asahara ordered the attack, or that any of his 10,000 followers participated. It's a ticklish situation. The Japanese police, normally tediously methodical, have pulled out all the stops in this case. Cult leader Shoko Asahara is still in hiding, although the national police have asked local governors to help find him for questioning. The wheels of justice grind slowly in Japan, but in criminal cases, when police finally charge a suspect or suspects, they have a conviction rate of over 99%. Lucky Severson, NBC News, Tokyo.
Now to Los Angeles, where the O.J. Simpson murder trial resumes tomorrow. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell reports.
Today, the Reverend Jesse Jackson was added to O.J. Simpson's list of approved jail visitors by Judge Ito.
I'm convinced that we must put this whole tragedy in perspective because it's a lot of pain.
Jesse Jackson says he is also trying to contact the Brown and Goldman families while here in Los Angeles. Tomorrow in court, Brian Cato Kalin begins his 4th day on the stand. The 36-year-old former Simpson house guest has been an unconventional witness in both his manner and in what he's saying. Kalin is actually helping both sides.
The facts in this case are with the prosecution, and that's what Cato gives him. But he gives his heart to the defense.
Did you see the defendant at 9:55?
No.
Did you know where he was at 9:55?
No.
Did you see the defendant at 10:15?
No.
Did he seem to be agitated in any way during the drive?
No.
Did he show any anger during the drive?
No.
When I asked you, did you ever observe them to argue or fight, did you tell me about the Christmas Eve argument?
No, I did not. Can I say something?
You can.
When this was going on with the grand jury and everything was happening, there'd be nothing I'd hide from you. My mind was with everything that if I remember something, I would have told you about a 911 call and all that sort of thing. But it wasn't something I wasn't trying to not tell you.
That Christmas Eve party in 1993 was at the home of Olympic champion Bruce Jenner, seen here at Nicole Brown Simpson's funeral. Jenner has now been added to the prosecution's witness list. Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, Los Angeles.
When NBC News Nightly News continues, raising the stakes in the big league baseball strike, and later, the changing American family. Grandparents are raising their kids' kids.
A company most people never heard of is changing the way we fight cancer and kidney failure. By inducing the body to produce blood cells, chemotherapy and anemia patients are gaining new strength. Helping to grow blood cells helped Amgen become the world's largest independent biotech company. Where do you find companies with such pioneering spirit? Actually, there's a list of them printed every day. NASDAQ, the stock market for the next 100 years.
Fibercon or Metamucil? Both give you the same predictable regularity, the same natural action of fiber. So what makes Fibercon different? With Fibercon, I get my fiber in 2 caplets. Fibercon, fiber regularity that's easier to take.
Now you can get 50% off all frames at LensCrafters. 50% off every frame we carry.
LensCrafters 50% off all frame sale.
This is a great deal. People should not miss this.
Hurry, LensCrafters offer ends soon.
Opening day of the 1995 Big League Baseball season is scheduled for 7 days from now. And again today, the action was off the field as the National Labor Relations Board took a mighty swing at the owners. But as NBC's Odetta Rogers-Clark reports, it's the little guy who's getting hurt the most.
It hasn't been a good spring for baseball. From Florida to Arizona, replacement ball is not a hit. With opening day just a week away, attendance for spring training is down over 40% from previous years. And the people who make their living around the ballparks are feeling the pinch.
All of our revenues are attendance driven, and if we don't have people in the stands, we're not making any money.
5,000 to 7,000 people, and you just knock down to about maybe 1,000 people or 800 people, it's bound to hurt.
In a rare Sunday meeting in Washington, the National Labor Relations Board dealt with the strike.
The board today has voted in the baseball case to grant the General Counsel authorization to seek injunctive relief in federal district court.
But the injunction does not mean a quick settlement.
Even if there is a quick settlement, the image of baseball has suffered a serious blow. According to a recent poll, 1 in 4 Americans say their interest in baseball won't return.
In New York City today, warm temperatures brought fans of the game out to Central Park to play it themselves. Some say the strike is hitting them hardest.
One side isn't giving in to the other, and the reasoning is so ridiculous. The ones that are really getting hurt here are the fans like myself.
I want to see somebody hitting home runs in a real baseball park than seeing them arguing on a TV screen.
No negotiations are scheduled between team owners and players. Odetta Rogers-Clark, NBC News, New York.
A 4th Republican candidate announced today for the 1996 Republican nomination. He is Alan Lee Keyes. He's 44 years old, an author and radio talk show host. He is a Harvard grad with a PhD in government affairs, no military service. Keyes served in the Reagan State Department and has twice run unsuccessfully for a U.S. Senate seat in Maryland. An outspoken conservative, Keyes made the announcement at a Republican meeting in San Diego. Alan Keyes, in his own words.
I formally declare here and now that I will be and am a candidate for the Republican nomination for President of the United States. I believe that the issue of abortion and the pro-life issue is not just some issue that's on the table out there. It epitomizes the central issue of our time. For involved in it is the question of how, as a people, we define our freedom. Do we define that freedom as the license to do whatever we please, no matter what the consequences to innocent life and human rights and public principles of justice? Or do we define that freedom as the founders did, based upon respect for law and personal and public moral discipline and moral decency? When are we going to stand back and realize we drove the fathers out of the home, now we're going to put the mothers in the workplace? Will somebody tell me who's going to take care of raising the kids? The American people are rejecting that principle, and I'm on their side, and I am going to fight to make sure that discrimination is banished as a principle from this land, whether it's discrimination for me or against me.
Alan Keyes, in his own words. The countdown is on now for Republicans to come through with their contract with America. A big stumbling block may come this week, though, with a vote on term limits for lawmakers. As NBC's Joe Johns reports, the controversial issue is dividing the party.
With the showdown vote just days away, Congressman Bill McCollum and other term limits leaders are struggling with the likelihood of losing.
I believe term limits is going to have its day. I hope it's soon rather than later, but it's going to have its day.
McCollum is pushing 12-year limits for members of both the House and Senate, but winning the 290 votes needed to pass a constitutional term limits amendment isn't McCollum's only problem. There are 4 different proposals before the House. Back in McCollum's home district in Florida, a term limits group has run TV ads denouncing him because the proposal he's pushing would allow House lawmakers to stay in Congress longer than Florida voters approved.
Congressman McCollum called what 77% of the people voted for silly.
22 states have passed some kind of term limits law. It's the kind of idea people in Bill McCollum's district can easily embrace.
So I think anybody staying in one position for too long might be detrimental.
I think they get stale, they get stagnant.
That's not what they campaigned on.
Paul Jacobs is director of the group U.S. Term Limits. His organization wants 6 years in the House and 12 years in the Senate, the same limits spelled out in the contract with America.
I think that the leadership has not done what they could to push this forward.
With 4 different versions of term limits coming up for a House vote next week, Republican leaders have asked their colleagues to throw their support behind the one that survives. But even then, the amendment may not pass. Joe Johns, NBC News, Washington.
When NBC Nightly News continues, Muslims in America feeling misunderstood.
To her, it could only be a fantasy. The stuff dreams are made of. So easy, so effortless.
So tasty. I can't believe.
I can't believe it's not butter. Spray. Introducing an easy new way to enjoy fresh butter taste without any fat or calories. New I Can't Believe It's Not Butter Spray. It's not just a dream any longer.
It says fantasies don't come true.
Okay, Daddy's turn to eat. Mommy said, try Crispix. It doesn't get soggy in milk. Yeah, Mommy is funny. Okay, so it starts crispy. Big deal, huh? Well, like childhood, this won't last.
Kellogg's Crispix cereal. Delicious corn and rice that stays crispy to the end.
Last bite. This should be mushy enough for you. Hey, it's still crispy. You're gonna love this stuff. Of course, you're gonna need teeth first. That means orthodontist.
When I got dentures, I decided they weren't going to stop me. And they haven't. I can get as close as I want in the morning and still feel as confident as I need to at lunch.
Even in the hottest liquids, when other adhesives stop holding, Fix-It-N holds stronger and longer.
Sure, I have dentures, but from morning to night, I don't have to give up a thing. Not a thing.
For the strongest, longest hold, Fix-It-N and forget it.
Meet Tracy, a beauty queen, everything to live for, until her attraction to Todd nearly turned fatal. She ended up on trial. The Love Triangle. Dateline NBC Tuesday.
In focus this evening, Islam in America. Immigrants have made it the fastest growing religion in the United States. But many Muslims making their home here say they face growing prejudice in a society where the devout are often stereotyped as violent extremists. Here's NBC's Bob Abernathy.
These Muslims in Boston, like the estimated 5 million other Muslims in the U.S., want to be accepted as fully American. But they carry a heavy burden.
We are all painted as terrorists. It's not fair.
The Persian Gulf War, people were asking me if I was like Saddam Hussein's niece.
Every time there is an incident, this is the time we are on alert and we are afraid.
The World Trade Center bombing in 1993 was a major blow to the image of American Muslims, even though Muslim leaders here quickly condemned it. Another blow comes from evidence being introduced in the current conspiracy trial of 11 Muslims accused of plotting to blow up New York City landmarks. In Washington, Muslim leaders are working hard to try to overcome stereotyping and insensitivity, and they think they're making headway. But the problem of guilt by association, they say, is getting worse. Ibrahim Hooper, a convert from Minnesota, is a leader in the Muslim campaign to explain Islam to Americans.
In Islam, it is absolutely forbidden to attack civilians even in times of war.
With 1 billion Muslims in the world, American Muslims say they're bound to be some who break that rule. So they're constantly on guard, fearing Muslim-related violence anywhere will trigger trouble for them here.
I would wake up every day, try to see what happened in the Muslim world, to know how I can defend myself today.
By television, fax, and pamphlet, Muslim officials alert their people whenever there's a violent Muslim-related incident. Another pamphlet gives advice on what to do if visited by the FBI. Meanwhile, the anti-defamation campaign continues. Last year, Muslims picketed the opening of the movie True Lies. The action comedy deeply offended Muslims with its stereotypes of inept Arab buffoons. Indeed, many Muslims see such portrayals as a sign that Islam has become America's new enemy.
There is no more communism. We need another scapegoat there so that we can focus into them, and unfortunately it's the Muslims.
In spite of all their difficulties, however, American Muslims are outspokenly grateful for the Constitution's guarantee of religious freedom.
Actually, you are freer to be a Muslim in this country than in any so-called Muslim country in the world.
Muslims count on that freedom and their own hard work to enable their children, at least, to be accepted both as Americans and as Muslims. Bob Abernathy, NBC News.
When NBC Nightly News continues, an American in a Muslim land, First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Sorry.
It was delicious.
How about a cappuccino?
You have a cappuccino machine?
This may take a while.
Maxwell House Cappuccino.
This is great. John, show me how the machine works.
Maxwell House. The magic without the machine.
I remember when the only choice was aspirin. Next came Tylenol, but couldn't always handle all my tough headache pain. Now naproxen sodium, but if pain comes back once you've taken it, you could be in pain hours before you can take more. No thanks. For me, the best choice is Advil. I wouldn't use anything else.
Advil contains the #1 doctor-prescribed pain reliever in its class in non-prescription strength.
Nothing is proven to work better or last longer than Advil. Nothing.
Advanced medicine for pain.
As sure as the sun will rise across America, the families that travel will have one common need: to be safe. So it's no surprise that America's favorite full-size car has also been honored for safety. That's according to Prevention Magazine, which gave LeSabre the Safe Car Achievement Award in the full-size category. Buick LeSabre, the American family car.
Something wonderful is here to tempt you. With tastes you've never had before at breakfast. Kellogg's Kellogg's Temptation cereal. Irresistible new flavors like honey roasted pecan with twice-baked oven-toasted flakes. Give in to the taste of new Kellogg's Temptations. If the honey roasted pecan doesn't get you, the French vanilla almond will.
Tonight at 8, 7 Central, Kurt Russell.
You have a bad day here, somebody dies.
William Baldwin.
I'm not gonna quit, you hear me?
Rebecca De Mornay, Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Show me a fire truck.
Donald Sutherland and Robert De Niro.
What would you like to do to the whole world?
Burn it all. Ron Howard's Backdraft at a special time, 8, 7 Central, NBC Tonight.
Hillary Rodham Clinton and daughter Chelsea are in Pakistan tonight, a key stop on a 12-day, 20,000-mile goodwill trip. It's both business and pleasure. Pakistan's government is headed by an American-educated woman that Mrs. Clinton wanted her daughter to meet. NBC's Linda Vester is traveling with the First Lady.
At Pakistan's largest mosque, Mrs. Clinton and her daughter Chelsea paid their respects to a dominant force here, Islam. Mrs. Clinton's goal on her five-nation tour of South Asia is building or rebuilding good relations, starting with Pakistan, a longtime U.S. ally dating back to the Cold War era.
We are especially pleased to be here to reaffirm the partnership and friendship between our two countries and also between the peoples of our countries.
I think that our two countries standing side by side can lead all of the world into a new era.
There was no discussion of two other key problems here, sectarian violence and terrorism. Earlier this month in Karachi, gunmen ambushed a U.S. consulate van, killing 2 Americans. Heavily armed patrols try to cope with the drugs and guns that have flooded Pakistan, but so far there's been little success.
Until last year, we heard people were killing each other with AK-47s. Now we're talking about bombs and rocket launchers and machine guns.
Despite the involvement of the FBI and promises of cooperation from Pakistani authorities, there have been no arrests in the case, nor have investigators established a motive. Even on the quiet streets of Islamabad, the capital, there is worry about what is happening.
We are not even able to send our children safely to the schools.
Hillary Clinton's focus on this trip is the health and education of women and children. But here in Pakistan, that theme is overshadowed by problems that could threaten the stability of the country. Linda Vester, NBC News, Islamabad.
In New Jersey today, there was a memorial service for the victims of a mass murder that stunned a quiet suburban community. About 2,000 people gathered in Montclair to mourn the 4 men who were killed during Tuesday's post office robbery. A 5th man was wounded. The suspect reportedly told police he needed money to pay his back rent. When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, keeping family responsibility within the family.
Take a good look through new Transitions comfort lenses. The new lightweight plastic prescription lenses with a special tint that lightens and darkens as the light changes. The only lightweight plastic lenses that darken and lighten just like that. It's comfort you can see day or night, inside or outside. Ask for new Transitions comfort lenses and see for yourself. They're right in any light.
Easy Spirit introduces Summer Walkers. Inside's every bit of our walking shoe cushioning and support. Outside's the whole world.
Have you tried multigrain Cheerios?
Multigrain? I wouldn't like it. I'll tell you why. First, it's healthy. It can't be good. This is good. Second, probably tastes like cardboard.
Crispy. Nice and light. Crunchy.
Third, it's too bulky.
3, 4.
4 different kinds of oats, toasted with a touch of
Brown sugar. Those are delicious.
Too much of that whole grain, new age sort of stuff. Know what I mean?
Once you try it, you can't deny it.
I like it. I'll tell you why. First.
ท่าทางเหนื่อยเชียวอย่างนี้แหละต้องรื้อปรับระบบต้องหาคนช่วยเสียเงินแต่ก็ไม่ดีขึ้นใช่วะอย่างนี้ต้อง IBM เฮ้ยเราต้องซื้อฮาร์ดแวร์เพิ่มสิไม่ใช่ IBM เขามีบริการปรึกษาการจัดระบบเขาจะมาอยู่กับคุณจนงานเรียบร้อยเลยหุ้นผมขึ้นเลยครับขายเลยครับ
This week on Today, the latest on the O.J. Simpson trial, plus winners and losers at the Oscars, advice on buying mutual funds, and Bo Derek's comeback. That's this week on Today.
Finally tonight, living in Grandma's house. It's a growing family phenomenon. More and more grandparents in America are now raising their children's children. But as Bob Kerr reports, child custody rules often make it tough financially.
It never occurred to Joanne Johansson that she'd still be on the job at age 60.
I was really thinking of going to the coast of Maine and, buying a small cottage.
That thinking ended 6 years ago when her grandson Thomas moved in. Emotional problems had overtaken his mother, and Thomas's father never was part of his life.
We used to ride bikes together. I find that's tiring.
Over 1 million children are being raised in a household headed by a grandparent, and there's no parent present.
That's a 17% jump, an increase of 150,000 children in recent years, according to new census figures. If a parent is present but not in charge, the total leaps to nearly 3.5 million children being raised by grandparents.
I'm having trouble right now trying to get into the one court to get permanent custody of these children so I can put them on our medical.
Regular meetings help many deal with problems, applying for benefits like health insurance and welfare if needed. How they end up here reads like a sociology book.
She couldn't support the three of them by herself. She has never received any child support from the father.
Marge Newsom's daughter was like nearly half the absent parents.
She was abusing drugs. And when I didn't find out about it until she had the baby.
So at 50, Marge is raising 6-year-old Nijah.
Money can be a big problem. 56% of all households where grandparents or caregivers have incomes below $20,000.
Like Dolores Gilbert, who works full-time but says at 52 she struggles to raise 3 grandchildren without public assistance.
Doing their hair, getting their meals, getting their uniforms and stuff ready for school. Homework, something that I'm totally out of shape on.
It's a lot of things you have forgotten.
What they don't want the rest of us to forget is that they are trying to keep family responsibility within the family at a time when their age, financial resources, and the bureaucracy can make it difficult. Bob Kerr, NBC News, Washington.
And that's Nightly News for this Sunday. I'm Giselle Fernandez in New York. Tom Brokaw will be here tomorrow. Have a good week, everyone, and a good night.
NBC News, now more than ever.
You won't believe what these doctors are doing, shooting holes into this man's heart. Sound crazy? It may one day save your life. Watch NBC Nightly News Monday.